Hello, my name is Bob Scales. I'm with Police Strategies LLC, and this is a short instructional video to show you how to use the coronavirus dashboards for the United States. When you click on the link to the dashboards, you will see this screen, and in the lower right-hand corner is the full screen mode. So if you click on that icon, it will better format the dashboards. The way to navigate through the dashboards is through the storyboards at the top, and then you also have some additional tabs that take you to different storyboards. So let's take the first storyboard, the title page. We click on the second page of the storyboard. These are the cumulative deaths and new cases of coronavirus in the United States. So on the state level data here, it's arranged currently by alphabetical by state. You can also sort. If you go on cases and over to the right, you can sort on cases, or you can sort on deaths, and then you can go back to sorting on the state. Same thing for county. Right now they're arranged by the total number of cases by county. When you click on a state, it will reset the dashboards to that state. So I clicked on Alaska, so now we're just looking at the cases, the total cases and the daily cases for Alaska. Similarly, if we click on New York City, now we're just looking at the cases for New York City. If you want to search for a county, I live in Kitsap County. So these are wildcard search, and then you can, it pulls up Kitsap County, Washington. We click on Kitsap County, Washington, and now we're looking at the data for Kitsap County. And to reset, you just click it again, and then click the X box here, and that will reset the filter. The main thing is you get the same screens as in the prior dashboard, except you get them when you hover over the state. So you don't have to click on everything, you can just hover over it and get that information. For the counties, it's the same format where you hover over a county, so Greene County, New York, and you get the same information as that first dashboard with the total number of cases and deaths. You can also filter by state. So if we wanted to look at California, the darker the color, obviously the more cases or the more deaths are. So Los Angeles County here has the most cases and deaths for California. For the select a state, the way to undo a filter, so if we're looking at Alabama here, and you want to undo the filter, in the upper right here is a show all values, so it basically clears the filter. So you click on that and we'll go back to all, and you will see the full United States. Similarly, you can select a region. We've divided the country into several geographical regions. So if you wanted to look at the southeast, and then it will set to all the states in the southeast, so you can see clearly here in New Orleans we have a hot spot, and then down in Miami-Dade County also hot in that area. And then to reset, you click that filter. We can adjust the range for the coloring of the dashboard. So if we just wanted to look at cases with less than 24,000 cases and say between 8 and 24,000 cases. So now we're just looking, now we've eliminated all the small ones and all the very large ones, and here are the counties. So Los Angeles County here, Miami-Dade up here in Detroit, Wayne, Michigan. Clear the filter, you click on that little filter icon. This dashboard is for animation. So the circle represents the number of cases in that county. These are all counties. And the size of the circle obviously is the number of cases. You can hover over the circle for the county and get the information on the cases, deaths, and the death rate. Similarly, we can sort and filter on states. So we can look, for example, at Arizona and just pull up information on the counties in Arizona. We can clear that filter. Right now it's set at the most recent date, April 24th, but you can also play an animation. The way to do that is to pull this back to the date that you're interested in. So I'm going to go to March 2nd. I won't go all the way back to January where the data goes. So these are all the cases that reported at least one case by March 2nd. Now if you want to play the animation, you click this play button here, and you'll see up here that the dates are progressing. So March 7th, March 8th, and then the new cases or new counties that have cases, and then the size of the circle you'll see grow as the existing counties get more and more cases by day. So now we're back to April 24th, which is the most recent date in the system. And another way you can select dates is to do this drop-down menu, and you can go back to and start it at any date. So if we go back to February 24th, obviously there were very few. So there's two different ways you can select the prior dates. Similar filters, so you can select different states to compare. So the way to do that is to first unclick all the states, and that will eliminate all the states. And if we just wanted to look at and compare Arkansas to California. So obviously a big difference between Arkansas and California, but you can click on those to compare whatever number of states you'd like to compare. But this is looking at on a daily basis, the percentage of uh, new cases in each state as a percentage of all of the new cases in the entire country. So basically it gives you proportionality and relativity to looking at the number of new cases. So what we can see here is that in New York on March 22nd there were 4,800 cases, and that made up 56% of all the cases in the entire country. And then down by um, uh, April 21st, we had about the same number of cases, but it's only 16% of all the cases in the country. And obviously that's because other parts of the country were having rapidly increasing numbers of cases. What's interesting is that you see in New York a dramatic decrease in the percentage of total cases, even though their overall number of cases are increasing. Whereas if you compare it to New Jersey, we see that New Jersey is actually increasing in its proportion of new cases compared to New York. Now we're looking at the stay-at-home order information. So I've grouped the states into different categories based on when they started their statewide stay-at-home order. So we have an early category. These states here started between March 19th and March 25th. These are the states between March 26th and March 31st. And then April 1st to April 7th, these are states that have only partial orders, not the entire state. And then here are the states with no orders. Similarly, we have the projected end dates. These obviously are subject to change. The bulk of the states started with the population started between the 19th and the 25th of March. And we see a very high number of cases and number of deaths, and then new cases and new deaths. These are the ones that started in the middle, and then these are the ones that started late. And you can see that these states with partial orders or no orders have a very small number of cases compared to these earlier states, which is probably one of the reasons that they decided not to do a statewide order. To go to the second tab up at the top, now we're looking at the rates, the number of cases per 100,000 population. And so this is looking at the cumulative number of cases. So for example, on March 30th, the total number of cases per 100,000 were 324, and deaths per 100,000 were 5. And then each day we're adding more cases and there are more deaths. And by April 24th, we had 1,309 cases per 100,000 and 78 deaths per 100,000. There are more states than you can fit on a screen. So at the bottom, you can scroll across here, and you can see the descending number of cases per state. Now we're looking at the same data as the state data, cases and deaths per 100,000 population, but we're looking at it at county level. So obviously much smaller numbers and potentially much higher rates. In Lincoln, Arkansas, they only had a population of 15,131, but they had 707 new total cases by April 24th, which is 4,000 637. So about almost 5% of their population has been diagnosed with the coronavirus, but they don't have any deaths yet. Another thing that we included on this map is, or on this dashboard, is a map which will help you locate the cases. And because there's so many, there are 2,745 counties in the database. So for example, if we wanted to look at a region, let's look at the Midwest. Now we're just looking at these states from the Midwest, and so we can see where the hot spots are in the Midwest. So Louisa, Iowa seems to have one of the highest rates right now, and here we see that over here, Louisa, Iowa. So you see this dramatic increase in just the last few days. Another thing you can do with this dashboard is you can again filter by population range. So if you wanted to look at counties that were similarly sized or particular size to your county, let's just look at counties between 50,000 and 100,000 population. So here are all the counties across the country that meet that criteria. And then we see that of those counties, Marion County, Ohio has by far the highest rate, followed by Pickaway, Ohio. Now down here we have a table that has the states. Right now it's sorted by the number of cases, and again you can sort on any one of these fields simply by clicking the filter or the sorting button at the upper right hand corner of any of these fields. So just to summarize, the state population, the total number of cases, the cases per 100,000 population, total number of deaths. This is of April 24th, 2020. Total number of, or deaths per 100,000 population, the death rate, and then the rank. So for example, New York is ranked third in the country in population. They rank number 1 in cases per 100,000. They rank number 1 in deaths per 100,000, and they rank number 6 in the death rate. Now we're looking at the same map. Everything's the same, except now we're looking at counties instead of states. So the table at the bottom is arranged by county, so you can again sort however you would like. And you can also select a state to look at. So if we wanted to look at Washington State, the cases per 100,000 population. So we can see that Yakima has 366 cases per 100,000 population, 952 cases, versus King County, the largest county in the state, which had a lot more cases, but their infection rate was actually lower than Yakima County because their population was much larger. I have a tab for new dashboards. If you find any additional data that we could possibly include in the dashboards, I would really like to hear about it. This is a very simple data set from the New York Times that's updated daily, and all it has is the county name and the number of cases and the number of deaths. I gathered other information about population statistics from the Census Bureau, and then different websites had information on the stay-at-home order dates. But there seems to be very limited information in terms of raw data that can be accessed for analysis. So if you come across any online sources, I'd love to hear about it, and we'll include new dashboards up here on this tab as we get more data. Thank you for watching. I hope that these dashboards will be helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email at bob@policestrategies.com.